Go Get a Mism Show. Hump Day Wednesday, right in the middle of the week. We trying to make it to the end of the week and trying to be all right. And I'm going to help y'all be all right if y'all help me be all right too. So tonight on the Daily Go Get a Mism Show, we are talking about keep the change. Tell them to keep the change. Are we talking about telling them to keep the change, like when you send somebody to the store to buy something for you and there's money left over and you tell them to keep it? Nope, we're not talking about that. The change that we're talking about and telling them to keep is the changes that they make to themselves, the changes they make in their lives, the changes they make to make in their appearance, the changes they make with their attitudes, their overall lives, their feelings. So we're going to get into that because, human beings are creatures of habit, and we like to feel like the more that we are around a person, the more that we are near a person, we are getting to really know them, and we are getting used to them, and we are getting to know what to expect from them. That makes us feel safe and secure. So when a person makes really wide sweeping changes that are sudden, sometimes it can really throw us off and can stress us out and actually distract us from a person sometimes, instead of attracting us to a person the way that we probably were and wanted to be when things was on the right track. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Tell them to keep the change. Is all change bad? No. Is all change good? No. So we're going to try to figure out what's good, what's bad, what's good, bad, what's good, bad, what's yeah, good, bad, that, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, yo. They say you can't be good and bad. I don't know about that. We all human, baby. Let's make it rock. Yo, down with you, down with me. Everything is gonna be all right, cause I got it in the plans, and yo, I need y'all to hit that like button, yo. Do that for me. And we're gonna get this thing started. Is all change good? I don't know. But I know we're gonna rock this thing. Yo, your girl changed her hair. She cut it all off. You with it? Yeah. Your man came home with a man unit. He was bald before. How would y'all react to that? Yo. Yeah. So I want to know, what are the changes that really get your attention with a person? Is it their physical appearance? When they look different, seem to be unstable about their appearance, always feel like they need to look differently? Yo, is that something that would grab your attention? Good, bad, indifferent? How about changes in lifestyle? When a person seems to be unsure of who they are as a person. Always trying to be somebody else. I know some people like that. You know anybody like that? I bet you do. I bet you do. bet you. I bet you do. I knew I do too. I bet you. I bet you. What we talking about? I mean, that's a serious thing when you know somebody that's always trying to be somebody else. Always trying to be somebody else. Now, on social media, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that. And some people hide behind the whole social media thing because they feel like this is just a place where you can do that kind of thing. And it is for the most part, but that doesn't mean that won't get on your nerves, because you have to decide who you want to be friends with, who you want to be close with, who you want to be in a relationship with. When they say birds of a feather flock together, they don't mean that y'all all do the same thing. But y'all do have something in common by way of the way that y'all feel about things, your outlook on life, what you can accept and or reject. So we gonna get to it. We gonna get right to it. I need y'all to hit that like button. And give me some hearts too. Give me some hearts. Give me some 100s. Yeah. I ain't gonna ask a lot from y'all, but y'all know what I've been talking about over the past few days. I need y'all to help me out. So if y'all rock with the Daily Go Getterism show, so 752, let me. So we talking about change, right? So suppose one day I came on here and I was talking about totally different material than I normally talk about, right? Like, can you imagine if I just flipped the script and came on here and start talking about MAGA and being on some right-wing, conservative, MAGA support type joint? Can you imagine that? Now that might be a change that would get a lot of y'all on a body here. And I could understand why. And even the people who we know are MAGA supporters, would they accept that in me? Like, you gotta really think about that. If I came on here with a totally different ideology than what I've been talking about for years and years and years, because people have come to expect a certain type of dialogue. So suppose instead of talking about family, instead of talking about relationships, instead of talking about jobs, instead of talking about self-help, I came on here and just started talking about Trump is good, Trump is great. Yo, y'all really gotta stop that hate, cause he's the man and he got the plan. So that's what type of time we on. Man, y'all would be getting on up out of here like, what's wrong with the boy? Somebody done drugged son 752, and why did they have to do? We want our old guy back right now at this particular time. We want to hear him rhyme, saying all that crazy shit like I'm on some other type time. Get your mother right. What's going on, y'all? I need them likes from y'all. Are we ready? Yeah. So we talking about, tell them to keep the change, baby. Tell them to keep the change, baby. Tell them to keep the change. We hear y'all. Everything is gonna be all right. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily, daily. It's the daily go get up, miss show. You think it ain't when it is. You think it won't when it is. We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing. Thinking all fast lane, no coasting. And everything is gonna be all right. We talking about telling to keep the change tonight. So tell them to keep the change. So we're talking about telling them to keep the change that they have made in their lives. Just because a person changes doesn't necessarily mean that you will be attracted to the change. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be accepting of the change. Sometimes people change for whatever reasons that they have. There might be something going on inside of them that's starting to come out on the outside. And it may be something that you don't understand because you may be thinking like, you was the shit. You was the shit the way you are. Why would you try to change and flip it and bounce it over to something else? Why? Well, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all that right now. All I need y'all to do is sit back, relax, and chill. Participate if you want to. Hit the number. Y'all can call in. You know, we're going to get this thing popping in the chat. We're going to talk about this whole thing about telling them to keep the change. Telling them to keep the change. I want to ask y'all something as I get this hardware out of the way. Now, you know, as far as physical change is concerned, a lot of men have to deal with women's changing moods as it relates to their hormonal changes in their, in their bodies. So one thing I've noticed, now this may not be all that consistent to everybody, and it definitely does not apply to everybody. But if this makes any sense to y'all, please let me know. A lot of men who are with women, good old heterosexual males who are linked up, married to, seriously involved with women, especially women who are middle-aged, getting into the upper echelon as far as age is concerned. A lot of women are going through menopause and whatever. And I'm noticing that a lot of menopausal or premenopausal women, they cut their hair. Now, to be fair, a lot of premenopausal women have lost their hair, all kinds of alopecia going on, all kinds of things. There's a lot of hormonal changes going on when a woman is going through menopause. But a lot of men what I've just noticed is that a lot of women seem to cut their hair shorter when they're going through menopause. Now men have to learn how to deal with that. If you like long hair and you were used to your woman having long hair, and then she suddenly changes her hair and cuts it off, that may not turn you on. Let's just put it that way. That may not turn you on. She may not look bad and it may not turn you off, but it may not be the thing that makes you say, oh my God, baby. But that's something that you have to deal with. What I would like to know is what if this happened in reverse? Because I don't think that a lot of women have to deal with a man making big sweeping changes, major changes in his appearance. But what would happen if a man went from bald like me and just came home one day with a Steve Harvey or a fade cut or dreads because he went and got a man unit, and I don't even know if that's what it's called. We're just going to call it a wig. Customarily, back in the day, black men didn't really wear hair pieces because they didn't make them for black men for the most part. They hadn't gotten the technique. Now they got it. And if you watch some of those videos where they are when they are giving men these makeovers and they are sporting this hair that's not really growing out of their scalp or whatever, but it's basically a wig that gets glued on and faded up and cut and styled and all of that kind of shit. Well, how would a woman react if her man came home like that? Because, and the reason that I want to know is because a lot of men have to deal with that. A lot of women don't consult with their man or whatever. Like, they feel like it's their hair. Their hair is their body, is their feelings. They can cut their hair if they want to. It's a free country. I think a woman cutting her hair low is covered under the First Amendment. I think it's covered under the First Amendment. I'm not sure, but I think it's covered under the First Amendment. But that's something that a lot of men have to deal with. Would women be able to deal with it if it was men? If it was men doing that? You know, maybe he came home with new hair, some fake muscles and shit. Well, I don't think you would be able to do that in a day. But I heard that there is a such thing as fake muscles. You know, they got implants for everything, man. You know what I mean? They got implants for everything. I heard they can even put some extra dick. They can put some extra dick if you need it. I don't know. Tell him to keep the change. Would they tell him, yes, baby, keep that change? Or would they tell him, no, you can keep that change? You need to you can keep that change because I don't want it. It's not welcome over here. My man, Jeff Sprayberry, was good. How you feeling, my dude? And Cheryl Halsey, how you feeling, Ma? And Jeff says, not everybody thinks like that, my guy. I'm a Republican and not necessarily a MAGA Republican, but I rock with you. I live what I preach. I can agree to disagree and still have love in my heart. Yeah, I know that. I'm very familiar. You got to understand, I used to be a Republican, a registered Republican. I'm not an outsider. I know how they think. I know what they do. I've been to many, many functions, you know, fundraisers, all of that shit. There was a time I was almost working in the Republican Party years ago in the early 90s. I mean, because my dad was a registered Republican and he believed in that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like listening to conservative radio, the Rush Limbaugh, the Don Imus, that Dr. Laura chick and all of that shit. I used to listen to all of that shit. So I'm not one of those Democrats who doesn't understand the other side. I've been there. And that's why I would never go there again. I had no business being there in the first place. I'm looking around like this is some bullshit. The whole ideology of it. But he was on that black Republican shit. And, you know, some of them guys was okay, but they wasn't real. We live in Philly. Ain't no fucking Republicans winning shit in this city. Respectfully. They wasn't winning shit. They wasn't winning no elections over here. Maybe some judges and shit, but we looked it up the other day. There hasn't been a Republican mayor voted in Philadelphia since 1941. They built this city on rock and roll. But I'm only saying all of that to say this. If I was to, after all of the shit that I've talked about MAGA, and we were able to live through Reagan. We were able to live through the first Bush. We were able to live through George W. Bush. Why? Because they were regular Republicans, regular conservative Republicans. They wasn't Tea Party conservatives, all on that bullshit, all on that Obama hating shit. They wasn't MAGA. They wasn't extreme. They really believed in free government. You know, not free government, but free citizens and small government, you know, balancing the budget. Yeah, they were real conservatives. It was the Tea Party that brought all this bullshit and all this chaos, and then they try to switch it around. And MAGA, I don't know what the fuck they doing. I really don't. I don't know I don't see how anybody can follow that shit. But for me to say for me to have such strong feelings about the whole MAGA movement, imagine me coming on here and being like, all of a sudden, like, yo, I've changed my ideology. And, now I feel like MAGA is okay. And I follow that. And I believe that's the right way to go and the right way to be. Come on now. I would be fraud central. Like, hold on, dude. You've gone too far the other way. You can't come and be like this. But the funny thing about it is, in politics, people accept that shit all the time. People jump in shit. As long as now you down with us, they accept that bullshit. They do. Look at JD Vance. JD Vance talked about Donald Trump like he talked about him. Like he called him a Nazi. He called him the American Nazi. He didn't have anything good to say about him in 2020. Now look, vice president. Oh yeah, everything that Donald Trump does is good. In politics, they accept that flip-flopping. The Democrats do it too. The Democrats do it too. So, they accept that change because it's all about money anyway, and they don't give a fuck. As long as you making money for us now, we'll do it. But in real life and your personal life, you may not accept those sweeping, far-reaching changes that a person might make, whether they are a lover, whether they are a spouse, whether they are a friend, whether they are a family member, whether they are a co-worker. Change is a form of instability, and people don't like instability. They like predictability. They like to feel like they know people. They like to, because feeling like they know a person builds trust, and trust builds confidence, and confidence makes people comfortable. So when a person is practicing instability all of the time, it makes people nervous because it makes people seem unpredictable, and then people don't know how to handle them. They don't know what to do with them. It's understandable to me. Totally understandable to me. And that's why I don't understand how people can put up with a Donald Trump. Because there's different shit all the time. You never get to stay on any kind of predictable track. It's like there's always something being switched around, moved around, readjusted, and I don't know. I don't see how you can get comfortable with that. But here we are. Cheryl Halsey, how you feeling tonight, ma? Good to see me. Some you. Good to see me. Some you. And Bwana Haguski, how you feeling, my dude? How you feeling? Good to see you. And Marvina Big B. Always a pleasure to see y'all coming on through. Always a good thing. A pleasure to see y'all coming on through. So we're talking about tell them to keep the change. Tell them to keep the change. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Well, y'all can see what we're talking about. We're definitely not talking about, overpaying for a product where the cashier is supposed to give us some change, give us the remaining balance of whatever we spent money on, and you tell them to keep the change. We're not talking about tipping anybody. We're talking about the changes that a person makes. Are we able to accept the changes that people who are close to us make, or do those changes make us? So if y'all check out the poll question, and I'm going to go to the poll question. See what the deal is. What kind of change in a person is more of a red flag for you? So you see like a drastic change in appearance? I don't know if y'all have ever known anybody or had to deal with somebody that is unsatisfied with their physical appearance. So it's not that they just don't like the way that they look, The people that I've known who are like that were always trying to look like somebody else. They were always trying to look and act like somebody else. For some people, I imagine that that's okay. For some people, I imagine that that's pretty cool. It's like, I've seen videos on social media and women talk about something. Yeah, I can be anything you want me to be. I can be this girl this day. I can be that girl the other day. And I'm like, no, you just dressing differently and putting on different makeup. You ain't no different. You the same old G. You're the same old G, ma. I don't know. For me personally, I would rather a person work on their personal appearance, their personal growth, their personal, I don't want to say appearance again. I want to say the way that their energy affects other people who are witnessing them. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I want everybody to be original. Get your own shit. Get your own shit. You know what I mean? Be your own person. Rock out with yours. Like, show the world what you have. Is it just me? Because it could be, but I would think that, you want to show the world what you have, your style, your flavor. Bryce D says, my guy, what's the word? And how you been? I'm feeling like a real man should, my dude. And I'm glad to see you here. Real glad, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming on through. Thanks for being you. Yeah. So, like seeing somebody that is unhappy with themselves and you see that they are always trying to be a copycat version of somebody else. I mean, for some people, they may think that that's commendable. That's cool. That's chameleon-like. It's like keeps you on your toes. It keeps you interested. It makes like who's this person going to be today? Blah blah blah. Like I said, there's some people who can rock with that. Not me. Not me. I'm not like when I see a person that doesn't really like themselves, it almost makes me a little sad. Am I the correct person to judge that? No. But to me, a judgment is just an appearance, and a judgment is just an opinion. I said an appearance. A judgment to me is just an opinion. And I don't see how you can make it through your day, any day, without giving your opinion on something. Like, why would you be wrong for having an opinion on something, anything, like why? Why come, man? Why come? But that's what we're talking about tonight, y'all. So yeah, unstable in their parents. Let's go to the next one. Unstable living space. Have you ever known somebody that is moving all the time? Moving all the time or changing their phone number constantly. You can't keep an address or a phone number on this person every time you turn around. Oh yeah, I gotta give you my new number. Oh yeah, I moved. I'm not living over there no more. Like, what are you the least month to month lease searcher, like you, what do you do? Move every time the rent is due? Because especially when a person has children, I don't think it's good to be moving all the time when you have children. Now, if you're if you're in the military or something like that, I mean, it's not always up to you. It's just a victim. Yeah, I mean, you're just a product of circumstance. You have to go to the places where you're deployed and things like that. Okay, we accepted that. That's the change that we accept. We will keep that change. But I'm talking about regular citizens civilians. And, how many of y'all have somebody in your phone and you got mad numbers for them to the point where you don't even know their current number? You might have a work number in there for them that's useless because they don't work at that job anymore. You might have a cell phone number in there, a home phone number in there, which is really just another cell phone number in there because they probably don't have a home phone because they switching cribs all the time. Instability, uprooting children all the time. You know what I mean? As soon as your kids get comfortable with this set of kids over here, they moving. Oh yeah, but we gonna still come around the way. We gonna still keep in touch. I don't really think that's a good thing. Somebody who moves a lot, like, all right, so on a year lease, if you move every year, all right, you rolled out the lease. Maybe you like different environments. Maybe it does something for you. Maybe it does something for your spirit. Maybe it's a good thing for you. But you can kind of tell the difference between when a person is moving because they can't establish any stability, whether it's physically, emotionally, or environmentally, or maybe even financially. Because moving a lot probably means that you're not owning the places where you live. So you're probably within a year, if you move twice in 1 year, then the likelihood that you have been paying the rent faithfully is probably low. Now, if y'all know something different, y'all can let me know. 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 Let me. So, yeah, I know. All of these are red flags for me, if we want to call them red flags. Change in demeanor, attitude, and mood. To me, that speaks to personality. Your demeanor, your mood, your attitude, that's your personality. That's what people either like you or dislike you for. So when people get used to that, that means that they're getting used to you. So if all of a sudden, the way that you were or the way that you deal with people is different, all of a sudden, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a little harder for you to keep friends. Now, that might just be me thinking that. That might just be me feeling that way. Let me know. Y'all can tell me. You know what I mean? Y'all can tell me. I don't know. Y'all a little, like, anyway. All right, fuck it. Yeah. When you choose your friends, when you choose your lovers, you usually choose them based on, how their personality is. Now, if you're a shallow person, you might choose your friends based on the way they look. You might choose your friends based on the way they look. I've known people who have done that. So if you are the type that chooses your friends based on the way they look, then it's probably going to be offsetting for you when they change the way that they look. Unless, of course, it vibes with how you want them to look anyway. I mean, to me, that really is some shallow shit. You choose your friends based on whether you think that they're physically attractive or not. that kind of friend selection normally starts at a young age, and it's normally born out of insecurity. A lot of people think that people who are conceited and things, that like they're overconfident and that they're not insecure, but that's not true. It's one of the biggest signs of insecurity. Buana says they must be from California. Hmm. Who knows? Who can say? How can we be sure? Do a lot of people in Cali choose their friends by the way they look? Is that what we doing? Is that what we doing over there on the West Coast? Is it? Is it? I don't know. I have friends over on the West Coast. But I have to admit, my friends that live on the East Coast, on the West Coast, are really from the East Coast. So they ain't real. They ain't real. They're a bunch of Tupacs. If you know, you know. Sure Halsey said, no, that ain't the way we are over here. I know that ain't the way you are. But you never know what's going on with this younger generation. But yeah, changing somebody's demeanor, attitude, or whatever. So, we normally know how our people are going to react to certain things that we do, react to certain things that we say. If we're looking for them to participate in something or whatever, or we're looking for their input or their insight when it comes to something, like we kind of know. We know what to expect. So if somebody that we're close to all of a sudden is showing a totally different demeanor, attitude, and energy than they had before, I'm not sure if we with all of that. Not sure if we would be feeling all of that. Not sure if that would be a good look for us. Not sure. Not sure if that would work for us. But we could check it out. We could we could decide whether to tell them to keep that change or to go somewhere with that change. Like that ain't acceptable. Like if you've ever had a friend switch up on you and they try to snap on you. How some people try to loud talk you and they never did that before. Like, why, like I never disrespected you before. Why are you disrespecting me like that? Somebody try to loud talk you or whatever. That might not be your cup of tea. That definitely might not be the straw that stirs your drink. That might not be what you are in the mood for at all. At all. Allergies kicking in. Yeah, listen, man. Let me tell y'all like this. Well, let's just keep going. All right. Changing jobs a lot. Instability with employment. Sometimes they have a job. Other times they on unemployment. Other times they self-employed. Can't keep a job. Changing jobs all the time. I've known people who change jobs a lot, and every time they get a new job, it's a really good job. Good paying jobs. But they never get dug in. They're never at a place for a good amount of time. You may not even really know what they do for a living. Have you ever known somebody that's like Tommy from Martin? Like, what do you actually do? And what do you do? Of course, Tommy or Martin was said not to have no job. You ain't got no job, Tommy. You ain't got no job. But in real life, you may know some people that really just can't hold down a job for very long. And that might be a red flag for you. That might be something that catches your negative attention. Like what's up with you? And it doesn't have anything to do with whether they have the money to finance you or whatever. You might not be looking for that you might not be looking for anybody to take care of you financially. But a person that can't keep a job, it often says more about them personally than it does professionally. Because many people have to code switch. Many people have to code switch when it comes to jobs. Like me. I'm not this person when I go to work. I'm a different person. And I have to be, because jobs aren't paying for what I do here. It has no place. Like here, I have freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of expression. And although this country is supposed to be predicated on that, y'all know it ain't that way. Y'all know it ain't totally that way. Even if it's a little bit that way, it ain't all the way that way. Hit that like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We light in here tonight. This is interesting. This is interesting. I'm trying to make it through this week with this little experiment with the algorithm and the hashtags and all of that. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. YouTube, y'all are giving me the business. Y'all giving me the business. But I'm gonna try to stick with it this week before I go back to doing what I was doing before. And yeah, I'm trying to push through it. I'm trying to push through it. I didn't sleep that well last night. Which is uncharacteristic of me. I normally can, I lay my head on the pillow and it's lights out early. I heart Oakland. Oakland is in the house. What's good? Oh, you didn't mean to write two? You meant to write yo. My man. Like not two. Yo. That's what's up, my dude. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. MB, I guess that means my bad. That's what's up. I'm not normally good at this text lingo stuff. Yeah, I'm saying appreciate you, my dude. But yeah, a lot of times when a person has a problem keeping a job, it's because he or she is full of shit. Some people can't make it on a job. They get to the point where they trying to be people's bosses or whatever, or they actually trying to tell the bosses what they should do. Well, this company would run a lot better if y'all would blah, 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 blah. And some of these suggestions might be good. But what do they say? It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. It ain't what you do, but it's how you do it. So ain't nobody trying to hear your rookie ass, your never set up nothing here ass, your outsider ass, coming in here telling everybody that they don't know what they doing and indicting everybody for putting this thing together. Like we was here way before you was here. And you coming in here trying to tell everybody what to do and telling everybody how this should be done and how it should be run. Ain't too many jobs really welcome in that. Like, with all due respect, sir or ma'am, who the fuck is you? Yo, just do your job and do your 8 and skate. And when they can't do that because it's just not on their heart to just come to work, do their work and go the fuck home. They gotta make some noise. They gotta kick up dust. They gotta talk shit. They gotta make waves. They have to cause a little bit of trouble, even though they never see it that way from their person. They never see it that way. You know how accountability goes. You know how accountability goes. And being in a position where you have to actually look at what you're doing and how the outcomes keep turning out. So anyway, that might be one of those situations where that kind of change in a person who can't keep a job, a person who can't hold down a position, a person that just can't seem to stay gainfully employed. That might be a red flag for you. It might. Ed Show, my man Ed from Detroit. My man Ed from Detroit. My Ed from Detroit. My Ed from Detroit. What's going on, my dude? How you feeling? Good to see me some you. Good to see me some you. Thanks for coming through. Marvina says that usually follows them in all aspects of their life. Can't hold it together. It really does. It really does. When a person has to change jobs totally, because who wants to keep changing jobs? Having to learn the culture at a job all the time, having to get used to coworkers, having to prove yourself time and time again. People don't normally want to do that. That's not normally a welcome thing. But, you know, if we're talking about change and we're telling a person whether to keep that change or keep that change, then we have to talk for a minute about people who believe in change for change's sake. You know anybody like that? Is it you? You know, sometimes you just need to change for change's sake. Like just to shake up some shit. And I don't know, every time I've heard somebody say that, I wasn't feeling it. What about y'all? Have you ever dealt with anybody who feels like that way, like they just want to change for change's sake? Like no particular reason, no particular plan, no particular direction. Well, we just need to try something different because what we've been doing ain't working. Like, what does that mean? It's not working in what kind of way? Kiana B, what's good? I like the way you spell that. All right, yeah.
You have a call from Cheryl.
Cheryl, what's good, Ma? How you feeling? What's on your mind tonight?
Thanks for. What's going on? My phone is cut out.
Your phone is cut out?
I can't see or hear you.
Oh, really?
Okay. All right. Let me try to get my iPad. Okay. All right.
You good now?
No. I'm mad.
Oh, man.
I'm enjoying. Okay. All right. Let me just grab my iPad. Okay. All right.
All right.
I'll be back at you in a minute.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right. Hello, everybody in the chat.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Love you too. That's what I'm talking about. See, you can call it here. You know what I mean? Having technical difficulties. I'm going to be the IT. I'm going to be in IT tonight, y'all. I'm going to be in IT. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. Change for change's sake. Have you ever known somebody that lived by that or that tried to implement that? Like, let's just go ahead and try this thing over here. Well, are we trying it? Are we trying it because you've seen it work before? Are we trying it because you like it? Are you trying it because you heard something about it? Are we trying it because it seems decent? Well, some people just say, yeah, well, sometimes you just got to change for change's sake. I knew a person that felt that way. She uprooted her kids and just moved. made the decision. It was a snap decision. So they were living in one place for years, and she just decided all in one fell swoop, we moving. Where? To the West Coast. Where? From the East Coast. I'm like, well, do you have people over there? No. But I'm going over there. I'm going over there to get a job. I found a job online, and I'm going over there for an interview, and then I'm moving over there. So let me get this straight. You just going to take your kids and uproot them and take them over to the West Coast? Mm-hmm. And when that didn't work out, because she was supposed to be going over there, taking a plane to go over there. Something happened with the flight. She didn't get a chance to get on the plane. All of a sudden, she changed direction and went down to Atlanta and got a job down there, uprooted her family, went down to Atlanta, was back in Philly in 6 months. Change for change's sake. Change for change's sake. I'm going to tell you like this. I was seriously like, yo, you can keep that change. Don't nobody want none of that shit. Don't nobody want none of that. We good. We good. Marvina says, my sister, LOL, moved at the drop of a hat. She would move between Missouri, Texas, and California several times. Yeah, I think if you're going to do that, you should be 100% single and you should be 100% without any children. Because I just don't think that that's a good thing to do when it comes to children. Now, maybe that's a personal opinion, and maybe that's just an opinion that I hold, and maybe it's nobody else's business except for the person that's doing the move. And I can accept that. But since they're dealing with you, because we are talking about people who we know, people who we are close to, people that we may be personally involved with. That type of change in a person, that type of snap decision or that type of change for change's sake type of thing might not vibe well with you. Even if it's just because you figure if you can just change direction at the drop of a hat, like Marvina said, without any provocation or without really any rhyme or reason, who's to say that you're not going to get rid of me for that same reason? Like, you're old, you're played out, you're worn out, you're the same old thing. You're like leftover spaghetti, maybe even meatloaf. You know, meatloaf is one of those things. Meatloaf is one of those things. You either love the meatloaf or you don't like the meatloaf. Anybody in here eat meatloaf? Anybody like meatloaf? Anybody here cook the meatloaf? If you make a really good meatloaf, then you do some shit. Having a good meatloaf is like finding a wife. You know how in the Bible, it says that a man who finds a wife has found a good thing. Well, it should also say in the Bible cookbook, though a man that can make a good meatloaf has made a hell of a thing. But anyway, sure, Halsey says, "Oh, so y'all down with the meatloaf? Y'all do meatloaf? Cool. Ed says moving to Camden, New Jersey, is a change for change's sake, or change to live on the wild side. What do you know about Camden, New Jersey? What do you know about Camden, New Jersey? Now, I know about Camden, New Jersey. But what do you know about Camden, New Jersey? And I'm not saying that you don't know anything about Camden, New Jersey. But I'm interested to know what you know about Camden, New Jersey. Camden is different than it was years and years ago. There was a time in history where Camden was flourishing. You said wild times there, let's say. Interesting. I would like to know where you would go in Camden, New Jersey. Because it's not like a hotbed of nightlife or anything like that. That's not Camden. Camden, like I said, at one time in history, Camden was flourishing. And, you know, when industry leaves an area and all the jobs leave, then people leave too. And that's exactly what happened with Camden. So you used to be able to see in the 80s blocks and blocks of abandoned homes. Blocks and blocks of abandoned homes. It was the craziest shit. I mean, it was like you're waiting to see tumbleweeds rolling down the street. But that was the difference between, like, let's say the east side of Camden and the west side of Camden. Totally different. Totally different. Shout out to Camden. Camden, if you're listening, anybody from Camden, if you're listening, shout out to y'all. Peace. Okay, so yeah, change for change's sake. Change for change's sake. I don't know. I think I'm a little too structured. And that could be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. For some people, that might be boring. I've only moved twice in my life. Twice. Once when I was 18 to my first apartment, and I stayed in that apartment until I was 29. And then I moved here. I've only moved twice in my life. I don't even know how people can move a lot. Like, do you accumulate things when you are in a place? Well, I come to find out, speaking of change for change's sake, there are people who buy new furniture every time they move. The first time I heard somebody say that, I was mind blown. Like, what? Like, yeah, you don't take the old furniture, your old furniture to a new place. You got to give it new furniture. You know, it has new ambiance and new energy. It's a new beginning. I'm like, to me, that sounded crazy. Like, ain't no way I paid money for this shit. Good shit, nice shit. I'm not leaving my shit behind or putting it in storage or selling it to somebody for dirt cheap just so I can buy some new furniture. But there are some people who believe that that's the way to go, and that's what they do. That's how they live. What we gonna say? What can we say? That's how they want to do it. That's how they want to carry it. That's how they want to live. If it works for them, it's supposed to work for us, right? If it works for them, it's supposed to work for us. What can we say? What can we say? Man. Marina says, that sounds crazy. It sounded crazy to me too. But the people that I know who have said it, they were dead serious. They were dead serious about that. And talk about some say go Eagles. Man, they better get their shit together. They better get their shit together. That first loss crushed me. That's not the change I was looking for. I want to win every week. I like winning. Winning is fun. I don't get to win a lot, so I like when my team does it. Like, y'all got the right stuff. But anyway, yeah. Tell them to keep the change. Tell them to keep the change. How about people who try to change other people all the time? They're always encouraging somebody else to change, or they're always trying to change somebody else. Like the dude, like a man who constantly wants to control how his woman looks. So he may buy her different clothes and maybe even pay for her hair to be done different ways or whatever. But And the women that are listening, y'all can straighten me out on this. If a man is constantly requesting that you look different, appear different, show out differently, are you okay with that? Is that not a red flag for you? Like, is that just you being able to provide a variety for him and him taking, fair advantage of that? Or is it indicative of subliminally telling you that you are not good enough? How would you feel about that if a man was constantly trying to change the way that you look? How would y'all feel about that, ladies? Let me know. Holler at me. Maybe some of y'all have experienced that at some point in your life. Some men who have really, really good means. In other words, who make a lot of money. Sometimes they try to control the situation to the point where they may be offensive to some people, and particularly their woman might feel some kind of way about her man not seeming to appreciate the her that she is presenting. Not satisfied with the her that she is, but always trying to switch it around, change it around, refresh, redo, renew, restructure. Huh? I mean, this might be something that we have to deal with. Ladies, if you ever dealt with something like that, let me know. Let me know. Well, let us know. Let's put it that way. Let us know. Because I'm interested. I'm interested in how that would go. Because I can imagine feel some kind of way about that shit. Because if the roles were reversed, and a woman was constantly trying to change the way that her man looks, even if she was paying for the clothes, even if she was paying for the haircuts or whatever, would he appreciate that? Fellas, let me know. If you had a woman who was willing to pay to change the way that you look all the time, would you go for that? Would you be all right with that? Would you feel any kind of way about it? Holler at me. Let me know. Because maybe I'm tripping, y'all. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I got this thing. Maybe I have this thing all wrong. How would you feel, brothers? How would you feel if you had a woman that was constantly trying to change the way that you look? She didn't seem to be impressed or satisfied with the way that you look. So she was basically trying to pull the puppet strings of your appearance. Would you be okay with that? Would you? Huh? I don't know, man. I'm going to have to give that one a hard no. For me, that would be a hard no. I don't think I would do well in a situation like that. I don't think that would be for me. I don't think so. Now, a lot of people can put up with things that I would never be able to put up with, but I don't think that would be a good look for me. Marvina says, I dated a guy that wanted me to wear tighter or more revealing clothes. I had to walk out in that. Okay. I'm not surprised because a lot of men A lot of men subscribe to that kind of thing. Goodness gracious. I didn't realize that got splashed and all of that shit too. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. A lot of men, they feel like since they paying for whatever they are giving to a woman or paying for whatever she wants, they feel like they have the green light to navigate it and tell it how it should be. I mean, if that works for the two people involved, I don't have a problem with it. If it works for the two people involved. Now, if it's not working for one or both people in the situation, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, and it can be in a place where it's not working for either one. Like maybe the woman is resistant to the changes that he wants her to make. And maybe that has him feeling some kind of way like, yeah, I'm not even getting my money's worth. Not even getting my money's worth. Or the woman could be feeling like, I'm just a piece of meat to him. Like I'm like a Barbie doll to him. Like he just Mr. Potato Head. He just wants to switch me around and put different things on me. He's not satisfied with me. He don't love me. He don't love me. Marina says, I was not comfortable being around him after that. Yeah, I can understand that. If the shoe was on the other foot, I don't know if men would be able to go for that. You know what I mean? Because it would be like a woman pecking on his self-esteem. Peck, 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 peck. Brothers, I don't know if you've ever been with a woman that points out your flaws constantly and consistently. Peck, 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 peck. And I'm not talking about little stuff. I'm not talking about little light stuff. I mean, maybe she talks about your job, like maybe you don't make enough money or maybe what you do is not worthy of respect. Because some people will call themselves inspiring you while dissing the shit out of you. They'll call themselves inspiring you while they really dissing you. And that's a problem. And that's an issue. And that's something that we got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we got to deal with. So we're going to deal with it. Here's another thing we're going to deal with tonight. Like I told y'all, I didn't really sleep good last night. So I'm not going to run this show a long time tonight. I'm not going to run this show a long time tonight. I'm about to do these birthday shout outs and then I'm going to get on up out of here. I really need to rest. I do. So hell or high water, here's what we going to do. I'm going to do these birthday shout outs. And then I'm going to let you good people get an extra hour of rest tonight. Cheryl said, I did not go through that with my husband. I can dig it. And I'm glad you didn't. We're going to do this like daylight savings time. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious October 8th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them. and make it feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Sandra Beckton, happy birthday to you. And also Lita Siobhan, Loving Mine Right. And Nashay Alice, Cheryl Price, Nisa Nunez, my man Gene Shogun Morris, and last but not least, Margaret Stiletto. Margaret Stiletto. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious October 8th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, change for the sake of change. Sometimes you gotta switch it around and rearrange. Sometimes it look familiar, sometimes strange, but when you gotta do your thing, yo, you might feel like that's the thing to do, and sometimes the thing really might not vibe with you. True or false? Yo, you gotta make sure you get back on your horse and ride if you feel inside that is not really serving you well, and you gotta do what you gotta do and do tell. Somebody's gonna need the knowledge that you bring, and I hope you bring it real hot. And yo, I see a lot of people want to get on the thing. They want to get on their life. They want to have a new wife. They want to have a new hubby because they wasn't happy with the other one that was chubby. Yo, it's lovey-dovey. Well, hopefully you don't abandon the people that you came up with, because I know that it will make somebody else feel some kind of way that the feelings that they had really tried to play. Yo, some people don't play about you, so don't play about them. Make sure you take care of them. And I'm going to tell you the advice. I ain't going to give you a whole lot, but I'm going to make sure that we put it on ice, because sometimes things have to be stabilized. Yo, have to listen up. Make sure you open up your eyes in to hear it. Yo, I say the spirit is not like the plane, but I'm trying to be sane. All right, y'all, we're going to get up out of here. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go Getimism show. I'm going to get some rest tonight, and then I'm going to come back refreshed and ready to go, because I'm gonna get some sleep tonight. I promise you I'm gonna do that. Hit the like button, y'all. Share the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I'm gonna holler back. Peace.